If you or someone you love is in a state of mortal sin, you need to go to confession immediately, because you may be carrying around more evil than you realize. Let's get right into it. I'm taking this beautiful spiritual advice from the book Devotion for the Dying by Mother Mary Potter. Listen to what she has to say. There's a lot for us to consider here. She says, if those who commit mortal sin and remain in it without going as they should as soon as possible to confession knew the harm they do in the world, they would surely have remorse. Know this, you who are often out of the grace of God, that as in the case of those who are in the state of grace, God's Spirit dwells with them, so too those without the grace of God, those in mortal sin, carry an evil spirit about with them, and their very presence brings evil, does mischief to others. There are some people likewise who strive to keep from mortal sin and who are anxious about their own soul and the souls of their children or those under their care, and yet if unhappily they fall into mortal sin, will remain for weeks in that state and are not in the slightest hurry to go to confession. It is strange that anyone who has faith can sleep night after night at enmity with God and not rather take the first opportunity of being reconciled to Him. I well remember hearing the case of a priest being surprised one night after his duties of the day were over by a boy coming and earnestly requesting to have his confession heard, and stating by the way of explanation for his coming at such an unwanted hour that having committed a mortal sin he had gone to bed as usual, but the thought of what he had once heard kept coming to his mind, that you should never go to sleep in mortal sin. At last, not being able to sleep, yielding to an impulse of grace, he had gotten up and come to the priest, hoping that he would hear him, though it was so late. The priest, of course, complied, spoke kindly to him, heard his confession, and having blessed him, dismissed him. The boy returned home and was found the next morning dead in his bed. Now, this is obviously a very providential case in which, had he not gone to confession, he might have been damned forever. The previous point was incredibly also impactful, that we carry around that evil, and even in fact an evil spirit that is doing damage to those around us, to those we love, to the world around us. At least two takeaways that we can take from this. One is that we should always be aware, at least in a general sense, of all the Catholic churches that are around us and the typical times that they offer confession. So if anything ever happens where we need to go to confession, we can go within a 24-hour period. Or it could be the case that we develop a friendship with our local priest, so if it's an emergency, we can call them and have them hear a confession. Note the boy in the story. He wasn't worried about bothering the priest, and even if he did bother the priest, who cares? Better that than going to hell. It may not always be the case, but I guarantee within 30 to 45 minutes of where you live, there's some church that has confession that day at some point. The other consideration that she doesn't mention is that we should be praying for those around us and be aware of the evil that they may be carrying, both for their sake, that they be protected, that they be delivered, that they have a chance to be back in a state of grace, but also that we're not affected by the evil spirits that other people carry. Unfortunately, we cannot live as the Amish, at least most of us. We have to be around different people. So we should be prudent and wise and always protect ourselves spiritually. The miraculous medal, the St. Benedict prayer, the St. Benedict medal, exercise salt, exercised holy water, etc. It's probably the case that if we could see what was really around us, we would never want to leave our houses. My friends, if you have found this video helpful, please subscribe and like, and support this channel through Buy Me a Coffee. I'll see you in the next one.